Let's talk about this now. People have been buzzing about it for more than a week now, for sure. America's fascination with the JFK assassination has been renewed once again. Highly anticipated here, 2,800 classified documents have been released to the public now. For more than 50 years, historians and conspiracy theorists, and of course the American public in general, have still had some questions about exactly what happened in Dealey Plaza on November 22nd, 1963. And now, at least they have some more answers because of that document release that happened yesterday. Joining us right now is JFK expert Ferris Rookstool III, here to help sort through some of these documents, former analyst with the FBI and custodian of record for the JFK assassination files. First of all, let's talk about this rollout that happened yesterday. Everybody thought they were going to wake up, the documents would be hitting the archives website. Didn't happen. It was a waiting game all day long, and then finally, late in the day, we got some documents, not all.
Exactly, and so we still have a lot more documents to go through. Of the 5 million records, 2,800, that's a small amount of documents. But even so, we were staying up late last night pouring through the documents to try to get an idea as to what exactly were these materials that the U.S. government had been holding for all this time.
And you weren't terribly surprised that they held back on some of these documents and they postponed their possible release for another 6 months while they look into whether or not they might still be too sensitive.
Yeah, I actually thought the fact that these documents came out at the end of the day was indicative that they probably didn't have any intent on releasing the full amount the entire day. They may have known this far in advance, but just didn't want to deliver the bad news until the very end of the day.
We know some people not happy, of course, about the fact that some of these are still under wraps as they are continuing to be reviewed. Meantime, you know, you've already poured over, what, 500,000 pages associated with the JFK assassination, and there you were, late last night, doing some more reading.
And actually, I was able to see in some of the documents that we pulled in the newsroom, actual files that I had transported.
Wow.
I recognized them, from Dallas to D.C., and then from the D.C. When we had them on the JFK task force. Then I drove them then to the National Archives. So it was coming full circle, and it was surreal in a way to look at something and go, oh, this is the exact document that I drove 1,372 miles, 26 hours nonstop in a U-Haul.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Just because of this whole process, it really is still some living history here in our country. Talk a little bit about, you know, after reading through some of these, and I know this is very early on, it's going to take a good deal of time to process these latest documents. Has anything stood out to you?
What stood out to me the most is the fact that the Central Intelligence Agency had a more aggressive or more thorough investigation of Lee Harvey Oswald than they had let on, and even to the FBI as well as to the media. For many years, people thought that in fact it was kind of a one-off. Oswald shows up in the backyard in Mexico City, and suddenly the CIA says, oh, who is this guy? But in fact, they knew who Lee Harvey Oswald was. He was on their radar screen. And on October the 8th of '63, when Scott said, who is this Lee Harvey Oswald? Well, headquarters knew exactly who Lee Harvey Oswald was and someone to keep an eye on.
But of course, that's not what the American public was made to believe. And so we can only imagine here that conspiracy theorists, this is going to be whole new fodder.
Absolutely, Jason.
All right, very nice. Ferris Rookstool III, really the foremost expert on the JFK assassination. We'll be checking in with you, no doubt, over the coming months because it's going to take some time to get into these records. And then, of course, we're still waiting on those additional records, maybe 6 months from now. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.